we are doing we are doing addition. We're continuing with it. I set a homework yesterday, and I'm hoping that people can help me with this homework. It's all about adding things to sentences. As we said yesterday, just quick review. We're not saying that there's any kind of big relationship. We're not saying that this causes this or this is as a result of that or any of those kinds of things. We're not contrasting. We're not doing relative clauses. We're not doing participle clauses. We're simply adding things to sentences. Sometimes we just have three things that we want to say together or two things that we want to say together. We're not saying that there's any special relationship. It's just that they are in some way related. And that's why we think it would be good to put them together. Sometimes there's one verb that connects those three things. Sometimes there's not. Sometimes we're trying to list three different verbs. Okay, three things happened or three things were done. These things are affected then. If you put those verbs in, they're affected by. What are verbs affected by? Anyone tell me?
Object.
By subject, object maybe.
Verbs are always affected by three things. Always.
Subject.
Subject verb agreement.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tense.
Tense.
Active and passive. Okay. So if you're doing something where you say John broke his finger, his kneecap, and his collarbone. Okay. They are just nouns, aren't they? The verb was broke. You chose that to go into the past. It was active. He broke those things. But if you start listing things that happen, then every single one of those list units, every one is a verb that's going to be affected by active, passive, and tense. All right. So we're going to see that today. I've got an exercise about that. So active and passive plays a role when we're doing lists of verbs. Plus, things can change depending on the linking, the addition linker that we use. Do we have to put a full stop and start a new sentence? Are we connecting verb clauses together or just listing things? When we use in addition to or along with or as well as, how do we follow that? Do we follow it with a noun or was there a verb pattern at the beginning of the sentence? All of these things combine together to make addition, even though it seems really simple on the surface when you're looking at things like and, okay, it makes things a bit trickier. So the simplest thing you can do is use and. Simplest thing. It works with nouns and it works with verbs. It's the simplest thing you can do. An X, comma, Y, and Z list with nouns is the simplest thing you can do. A list of verbs using as well as, that's where it gets tricky because you've got all of these questions about should I follow it with a noun or not? Plus all of these verbs, you're thinking, well, are they active? Are they passive? When did they happen? Okay, that can be tricky. So we're going to go and cover a few of those things today. So let's talk about, first of all, to do with the homework. I set this as a homework. If I could move this out of the way. There we go. Yeah. So we've got 4 sentences. What I'm interested in is, can you make those correct? So put your hand up if you've already done this for me. If you've had a look. Hussein, Erzat. Okay, Erzat, you can help me.
Yes, Bob.
Number 1, what do you think?
Number 1, I change it a little bit. I said we lived in the countryside when we were young, fishing, hunting, as well as doing a lot of bird sport. Okay,
so you've just taken and as a result out.
Yes.
Well, I would I would keep that there. You know, it is possible to do what you did. You basically put in a
Because
participle clause.
it sounds me very strange as a result of yeah. So I
Well,
would like to use so, but in OET I know we
well, so
yeah,
would be the same. So would be the same. If what this person's trying to tell us is it's because we lived in the countryside that we did all of these things.
yes, but yeah.
So I'm quite happy with that to remain there and for it to be a verb clause. Now, if you did do it the way you did it, I can't remember what it's called, what the literary term is. But it's basically a participle clause. Fishing, hunting.
Yes.
That I think it's called syndeton. It's a weird literary device in English where you just put commas in instead of having like a proper verb clause here. I'm not going to accept that because you wouldn't use that in OET. You're not going to use that structure. It's a very literary, very poetic way of writing. But okay, so you put fishing, hunting. Did you use as well
as yes, fishing, hunting,
as well as doing a lot of bird spotting?
Yeah.
Okay, a lot of bird spotting. Okay, but unfortunately, even if we did do it this way, you have broken one of the rules. Okay, I'm gonna accept it as a sentence here to help you with it. I wouldn't be very keen on it in OET, but there's something missing. There's one very simple word, the easiest word in English. Just speaking to Ezat.
Hunting, after hunting with a comma.
Well, yeah, I guess we do need a comma there, yeah, but there's a word missing.
Right.
Okay, remember that we've either got X, Y, and Z.
And Z.
Yes, it's here, isn't it? Okay, so it's a perfectly good sentence if we put that and there. It's a perfectly good sentence. It's very nice. It gives me the sense, because this is a present participle, it gives me the sense that this all happened at the same time. That's what a present participle clause does. So we lived in the countryside when we were young. The fishing, the hunting, and the bird spotting all happened at the same time. That's what a present participle does. But it does feel a little bit too poetic for OET. All right.
Sorry, I have a question, please.
Go on, Taufik, yeah.
If we have more than 3 items, let's say, for example, we have 4 items as a list, do we still use the X and Y?
Yeah, basically, for every item you add to the list, you just go further back into the alphabet. So it would be W, X, Y, and Z. It would be like that. Okay. If it was with as well as, it would be the same, but it would be W, X, and Y, comma, as well as. That's how you do it.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So I think that's okay, but let's just make it a little bit simpler. So we lived in the countryside when we were young, and as a result, we fished, hunted, as well as doing. That's it. Okay, we just get that put in. We fished and hunted as well as doing. If you wanted to not use as well as, it could be very, very simple. We fished, hunted, and
Did.
Yeah, because when we do verbs, we have to make sure that we've got the right tense. Okay, we don't have to worry about tense, do we, when we say as well as, because it's going to be a gerund that follows it. Okay, all right, next one. Why does that say number 1 now? I don't know why that says number 1. It doesn't matter. Okay, there are a number of reasons to visit Manchester, including great museums and wonderful restaurants, nice people. Puraldo.
Right. So wait a second. I think we can. There are a number of reasons to visit Manchester, including great museum and wonderful restaurant as well as nice people.
Yeah, okay, we could do that. That would be a simple way to do it. Yeah. Or we could just put the and in a different place, couldn't we? If you think about it, we could just say, okay, there are a number of reasons to visit, including great museums, wonderful people, restaurants, sorry, and nice people. That would be an easy way to do it as well. Okay.
Mhm.
This is just a quick review, isn't it, of the X, Y, and Z. Okay,
Paul,
good. Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
I just one thing come in my mind, and I'm not sure. For instance, is it okay? For instance, great museum, wonderful
It's the same
restaurant.
thing. Yeah, such as, for instance, including,
Okay, thank you.
for example, would all be the same. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Let's go for Mary.
Yeah. This, in addition to love my family, I live near them.
Okay, so in addition to love my family, I live near them. Okay, so you're not happy with that and because we've got in addition, haven't we? We've got, yeah, but I'm not 100% happy with that, Mary.
Me too, sir.
Okay. In addition to is followed by nouns, isn't it?
Yeah, loving my family, sorry.
So in addition to loving my family, I live near them. Okay, yeah, there's two different things that I do for my family. Okay. Notice what we're doing. It's verbs, isn't it? That's what we're doing. Okay. Next, let's go for the last one. Hussein.
Yes.
This is hard.
In addition to my friend being generous, he is also a great cook.
That's fantastic. Yeah. In addition to my friend being generous. Why did you change it?
Because of is going to be being, it's the passive.
It's not the passive, it's the gerund, isn't it?
Gerund.
Of the verb to be, because we use the verb to be before adjectives.
Yeah.
And what I mentioned a while ago when we were looking at other linkers, the verb to be plays a big role. It can be passive or it can introduce these adjectives. And when it does, if we're using a linker that requires a noun after it, then we have to convert that into being, don't we? Okay, so I think we've done a good job there. Let's go and look at another exercise then. I want you to produce some sentences for me, not just correct, incorrect ones. All right. So I think, yeah, Pune, have you got a question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
About the last sentence. Is
Okay,
it necessary to delete also?
let me just open it up again. I think I've just
Excellent.
dropped it
I
down.
can.
Yeah, okay. Let me go back to it. Here it is. Okay. So can we get rid of also? Yeah. I can. I don't need it. People just do it sometimes.
Okay.
It's not necessary.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Right. Okay. So let's go and look at this one then. So let's move that out of the way. Here we go. All right. Okay. So you have to choose verbs here. Okay. Look at 1, 2, and 3. You have to choose verbs. I think if we look at it, can we see the story? Mrs. Johnson, arm fracture, ORIF surgery, full recovery. There's a story there, isn't there?
Yes.
I think we know what the story is. Harry Pierce, bad seafood, 3 times episode severe vomiting, hospital. There's a story there. Bernadette Smith, insomnia, 3 months, GP, sleeping tablets. Okay. We've got different items there that I want you to put in. Okay. Now, if you want to use some other little ways of connecting ideas together, that's up to you. But I'm looking for this list. All right. Now, I want you to be careful here. Sometimes when you use specific addition linkers, it sounds more like a story, and others it sounds less realistic. So depending on what order you put things in, we'll see. Okay, so let's start with number 1. Okay, it's up to you. You can choose any of the ways of adding that we've discussed. Please put it together. There are 3 verb phrases here that need to be done. You can do it in one list. You can do it in two sentences if you want. You can use noun linker, you can use verb linker. That's up to you. Let's just see what you produce. So I'm going to put 1.5 minutes on the clock. Don't overthink it. Just start typing it. Okay, 1 minute 30 starts now. Okay, we've had 1.5 minutes. Remember, what I'm interested in here is the verbs. How are we presenting them? Okay. I think I've got everything that's being sent through. Okay. After suffering an arm fracture, Mrs. Johnson underwent ORIF surgery. As a result, she is full recovered now. Okay. So that doesn't really work as the verb. She is fully recovered. I don't think I'd use that. First of all, it's fully. I would use just this as the verb. I would say has. She has fully recovered. And that means that you don't need now. Because if you say she has fully recovered, we know for sure that it's now. Okay, it's that present perfect. So after suffering an arm fracture, okay. So we've gone with a sort of participle there. Mrs. Johnson underwent as a result. So this has got no listing in. Okay, so this really hasn't done any addition at all. There's none. Okay, having had, again, we've got a participle clause. Mrs. Johnson has made. So what's happening here? We're missing, we've definitely got problems with verbs here. Having had ORIF surgery, Mr. Johnson has made a full recovery after his arm fracture. Now, it makes sense. Okay, this person's also used after. Okay. But we're not doing what I asked, guys. We're not really listing. Okay. And if I look at that feels a bit strange to me. Think of what I've told in this story. Okay, I've mentioned that the surgery happened, then I've mentioned the full recovery, and then I've mentioned the oldest thing last. For me, that's not the best organization. If I read it, I'm not saying it's not possible, but it seems a bit of a strange way to tell a story. 2, 3, 1. It's a strange order. Okay, Mrs. Johnson had arm fracture, did surgery and got full recovery. Now that seems a bit simple. So it is a list though. So had an arm fracture, did surgery. Now, do you think did is the best? Now, a surgeon will do surgery.
Underwent.
Underwent is the better one, isn't it? Yeah, underwent is what we would want there. Underwent surgery and got a full recovery. So you wouldn't say got. What verb would it be for full recovery?
Made.
Made
Made.
I didn't find anything, sir.
Okay, yeah, it's made a full recovery. So these are collocations, aren't they? In OET, underwent, is the common collocation that you would do. It's professional instead of using did and made a full recovery. That's the common collocation. But it's a nice verb listing. Okay. Mrs. Johnson fractured her arm, had, and again, I put underwent, and surgery is uncountable. Okay. Underwent is what you'd say. Let's take that. Underwent hour of surgery and recovered well. I like it. That tells a good story in the right order. Okay. Mrs. Johnson had an arm fracture, due to which she underwent hour of surgery, and as a result, she is fully recovered now. Okay, so she has fully recovered now. Okay, so let's put that one in red as well and get rid of it. Yeah, I suppose that works. Yeah, for me, it does feel a little bit like an overuse of linkers. Do I really need to do it? Okay, here I've shown a cause. Here I've shown a result. Do I really need and as a result? Probably don't, do I? I could probably just say, and she has fully recovered now. I think that would be probably okay. What you've got to be careful, there's different things that we learn, different levels. At the beginning, we learn, oh, you can connect ideas. And then you think, well, I can connect verb clauses together. And then I can connect noun clauses together. Then I can think about listing verbs and stuff like that. Then when you get to the top, when you know how to do all of those things, you say, well, actually, is it better to not put the linker here? And you become a little bit more native in how you do it. I think most natives wouldn't put as a result there. Okay, they'd probably just say, and she has fully recovered. Yeah. Again, we don't need now. It's not necessary. Mrs. Johnson has an arm fracture. In result, he has. Okay, now this one we've got a problem with. Unfortunately, there are a few issues. Okay. Is it really a list? Because you've got in result here. In result is not a linker that shows results. And the tense is not correct, is it? Neither is the subject verb agreement. So this one, there are multiple language issues. Okay, and just see above to there are some really similar ones up here in terms of the listing. Okay, let's move on and do the next one. Okay, I know some people have sent theirs in, but let's just try and get them in there a little bit faster. Okay, Harry Pierce, bad seafood. 3 times episode, severe vomiting, hospital. Okay, these are 3 things. What are the verbs? Okay, let's put 1.5 minutes on. Okay, got a few coming in. Okay, well done, guys. Yeah, okay, so let's have a look. Harry Pierce ate bad seafood, reported 3 episodes of vomiting, and was admitted into hospital. Perfect. Okay, so what's happened here? We've chosen 3 verbs. Okay, that are good verbs. I'm happy with those. They're all appropriate. Secondly, what has the writer done? What's the writer done that was good? They've converted the last one into the passive, haven't they? Okay. Now you don't really need to say into, you can just say to, but into's fine as well. So that's good. Okay. Harry Pierce had served bad seafood, which resulted in severe vomiting 3 times and was admitted in the hospital. Okay, so this is why it gets a bit tricky, isn't it, when we're trying to put other linkers in. So this one here is just a list, a simple list. It's X, Y, and Z. That's what that list is. It's really simple. It's really clear. We can see the order of events, no problem. This one we've got a bit of a problem with, okay, because we've chosen served, okay, instead of ate or consumed. Then we've got which resulted in, okay, severe vomiting 3 times. What does severe vomiting really mean? Is severe vomiting normally based on how much they do it or how violent it is when they do it? I think that's a strange one. I don't think you need to say severe vomiting 3 times. Plus, vomiting 3 times is not the same as an episode of vomiting for me. An episode of vomiting, when I think of vomiting 3 times, it's like 1, 2. I think you get the picture. But episodes of vomiting, for me, gives a sense of maybe I woke up in the night and I threw up 3 or 4 times. And then in the morning, I woke up and I vomited 3 or 4 times. These are episodes, aren't they? So for me, let's wait. Severe vomiting 3 times seems a bit strange. It's not the same as episodes. And was admitted in the hospital is okay, but we've got this and here. But that's a bit strange, isn't it? Because what we've done is Harry Pierce, which resulted in something, and well, who was admitted? I know it's Harry Pierce, but according to the sentence, we've started a whole new verb clause. You need to put in the subject again, because this starts a new verb clause, which resulted in. It's a relative clause with a linker for results. So that one doesn't really work, and it shows you how easy it is for you to just step off the path and make a bad sentence. Okay, so if I was to fix this, it wouldn't be had served because it's active. That makes it sound like Harry Pierce served bad seafood to someone else. So if he served it to someone else, then why did he have it? So it's a bad verb. Let's just put ate in. Okay, so Harry Pierce ate bad seafood, which resulted in severe vomiting. I think what we could put is 3 episodes of severe vomiting, which is and here we've got a bit of a problem, haven't we? We've got to add it, and he was admitted. It would be a bit strange. So for me, I would probably put something like this. I think I wouldn't put a list. He was admitted in the hospital, or he admitted to hospital. That's what I would probably do, something like that. But that's only because I'm correcting what's already there. I wouldn't probably write that sentence if it wasn't for the way the previous one had been listed. Okay, next. Harry Pierce consumed bad seafood. Consumed will do. Yeah, okay, I'm happy with that. Had 3 times episodes, had 3 episodes. Okay, had 3 episodes of severe vomiting and went to hospital. That will do. I'm happy with that. We've got went, we've got had, we've got consumed. Those 3 verbs will do. Harry Pierce had a bad seafood. It's not, seafood is uncountable. Okay, so Harry Pierce had bad seafood, resulting in him. Now, it needs to be a verb, doesn't it? Unfortunately,
him being hospitalized.
Yeah, it's a passive gerund, isn't it? Okay, comma, resulting in him being hospitalized, and and 3 episodes of severe vomiting during hospitalization. It doesn't really say that, does it? I suppose it could be. I mean, if you want to mix it up. Harry Pierce had bad seafood, resulting in him being hospitalized, and we need another gerund, don't we?
And
Now, what would be the verb for a severe episode of